Imagine the process of reading a scene in a novel. No matter how vivid your sense of imagination, the full extent of the arrangement of matter will escape you. Only if the arrangement of matter makes some kind of meaningful contact with your own sense of how matter is normally arranged, and does the scene manage to make some sense in your mind. And by matter, I mean physical objects as they are, without meaning being imposed upon them. Now, of course, and depending on the skill of the writer, you are either transported into this new world of matter, or you simply nod along to whatever the author says, rather than to what he shows. In cinema, the whole logic is reversed. Even the dullest attention will give you some access into matter. And the chair in which some lady experiments with the scissory nature of her size is there. It doesn't have to be conjured up in your mind. So, given this ease of access, given this absolute ease of perception in cinema, why do we need literature? After all, in cinema, you can put words either in the form of dialogue or in the form of narrative. Why can't we read through cinema? Consider this sentence as if it were part of a novel. In the puddle, the reflection of his house's window had taken the color of a different window, the house of which, reflected in that other puddle, looked like his house's window. Now a few things are happening in that sentence. There's the first puddle that is reflecting the first window. But because the reflection has changed the color of the window, and the character is transported to a different time, where there is another window and another puddle. However, the second puddle again sends the character back to the first window. Imagine trying to express this sentence through cinema. How do you show that the first puddle, through all these mental links, has reminded our character of the first puddle? Here we notice something. The moment you introduce swift changes of time into literature, cinema struggles to keep up with that kind of literature. And none of us would want to see Proust's In Search of Lost Time done in a cinema, because we know time plays such an important role in the novel that it would be quite impossible for cinema to show even a small part of it. Now, by comparison, consider this scene from David Lynch's Mulholland Drive.
$10 says you're Betty.
Yes, I am, Mrs. Lenoir.
This scene is pure matter. If not for the movement of the frame, we could even have called it a painting. No writer of literature could ever hope to conjure up something as intensely spatial as this scene. In its best, cinema is a frame into nature. But when cinema tries to frame the movement of thought, it loses some of its glory. Of course, working within the constraints of each art is what most of practicing art eventually becomes. As writers try to engage ever more closely with matter, and they have to refine thought to a point where it leads the reader naturally into space. And this is quite similar to the silence that follows an applause. On the other hand, as filmmakers try to engage ever more closely with time, and they have to arrange matter in such a way that that very arrangement speaks of the passage of time. And the visual and the mental can sometimes conspire, but they never satisfy each on their own.